Hello, my name is Kirk Rosberg. I'm the planetarium coordinator here at the Hastings Museum. On this Up Close Museum Minute, we are going to be looking at just a small section of one of my Up Close programs, which was very popular, on serial killer Ted Bundy. Since there's not really enough time to talk about all of the crimes, we're going to be looking at some of the best documentaries, movies, and books about this notorious serial killer. All right, let's do documentaries and movies about Ted Bundy first. The first one, which is on Amazon Prime and free to watch if you have Amazon Prime, is Ted Bundy, Falling for a Killer. It has an IMDb rating of 7.9. It lasts just under 4 hours, and it is in 5 separate episodes. The pros are that the interviews are very good, and it is a good overview of those times from a female perspective. Survivors get to speak out, some of them for the first time. The cons are at times it is unfocused and seems to be more about the times than about the horrific events that took place. Second one is Conversations with a Killer, the Ted Bundy Tapes, another documentary on Netflix. It has an IMDb rating of 7.8. It runs about 4 hours, and it is in 4 episodes. The pros are that there are some great interviews, and it's a good chance to hear Bundy speak about the events in his own voice. The cons are that Bundy often has to explain things in the third person so as not to directly incriminate himself, which kind of gets old after a while. And it also takes a long time for him to even get to that point. But once he does, it's fairly interesting. And a movie to watch, Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile on Netflix. 2019 movie starring Zac Efron and Lily Collins. It is rated R. It has an IMDb rating of 6.6. And yes, it is on Netflix. It runs about an hour and 50 minutes. It is directed by Joe Berlinger, who also did Conversations with a Killer. And overall, it is a very good film. Now, the books about Ted Bundy, all of which are available in audiobook form on Audible as well. The Bundy Murders, a comprehensive history by Kevin Sullivan, who's made almost a career of doing Ted Bundy books. The audiobook runs approximately 12 hours. Sullivan draws from legal transcripts, correspondence, and interviews with detectives and prosecutors. And from these sources, some new information on several of the murders is unveiled. It is very well written and very thorough. It opens with a preface about a girl Bundy confessed to killing while on death row in 1987. This would have taken place in Tacoma, Washington, August 31st, 1961. And it is Anne-Marie Burr. She was 8 years old, and he confessed to killing her when he was 14 years old. The second book, and probably the best known of all, The Stranger Beside Me, the shocking inside story of serial killer Ted Bundy, by Anne Rule. The audiobook has a duration of 18 and a half hours. Just some pros here. It is well written, with at least some knowledge of Ted Bundy's life before the murder spree, for the most part, and writing about the trials through his execution in January 1989. Some of the cons, though, are that Rule tends to exaggerate how well she knew Ted in order to tell her story and offer her own psychological insight into the man, which she may not have actually known well enough to do. Thirdly, and lastly, The Phantom Prince, My Life with Ted Bundy by Elizabeth Kendall. Elizabeth Kendall was the longtime girlfriend of Ted Bundy. The audiobook has a duration of 6 hours and 18 minutes, so it is by far not the longest and most detailed book, but it has garnered some very good reviews overall, And it is also we're the source, at least, of a lot of information for Ted Bundy falling for a killer, as well as the movie Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. So, there you go. 6 things you can watch when you're hunkering down. Well, thank you for joining me today. And for more information and educational resources, go to hastingsmuseum.org.